Hello, hello, hello. Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, but more specifically in Alaska. And we have been working on, excuse me, this book. Somebody had asked me if we could make books without doing binding. Okay, without, like a book, a regular book is bound. And I said, yes, I already had one that I had started. And so that I would show you how to do this one. Now, this one I did with a ribbon. And of course, I don't see the ribbon right at the moment. It's here somewhere. But because I had already started this one, I wanted to show you from the very beginning. Now, I actually started showing you with this one, and I put the pages in not the way I had intended. Now, I'm going to finish this one, okay? But I didn't mean to put this particular page in like this. I meant to put it in so that it would have a flap out like this, okay? So we ended last time where I was cutting the papers to go on here, and I used an old retired designer series paper, and this designer series paper is Dainty Flowers. Now that's no longer available. But I kind of like, as much as I love the paper, and oh my goodness, I love the paper. As you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. But part of the reason I wanted to use retired old designer series paper is because if you're like many of us, you have lots and lots and lots of designer series paper out there that you have not used. Whole or partial packs, and you need to use them up. And if you were to make a little bit of a mistake, it's not the end of the world. It's old paper. Not that there's anything wrong with old paper. I'm not trying to say that at all. But what I want you to do, my idea on this is to use up the paper that you have. There's no sense in it sitting on your shelf and not being used. So, end of lecture. Can you tell I'm a teacher? But I only teach first, second, and third grade this next year. Okay, so having said all of that, what we're going to do today, don't you just love that magnet? I just love it. Anyway, that was in video 2. So if you have not watched that one, you'll want to go check that out. And in the first video is the measurements for all of this. So you'll want to go check that. And I have put the, finished putting the pages, the designer series paper in all of these. Now, this is what we're going to do today. Those are not stuck in. We're also going to do the little booklet that was here. This was a little strip that was left over from, one of these pages that I had cut off, who knows what. And I could put it somewhere. I don't know where. None of those places. Maybe on this, I don't know. Anyway, it's left over, okay? So it was just sort of hanging in the book. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make this. Now, these are still wet because I just did them. Now, the idea is that the colors match what I have in the book. So, again, I had done that particular designer series paper, the Dainty Flowers or whatever it was. And so I checked on the, here it is. So I checked on the back. Whoops, upside down. And I looked at, where is it? There we go. Can you see that? Maybe. There we go. The colors are Blushing Bride, Crushed Curry, Fresh Freesia, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Rich Raspberry, and Starry Sky. Well, Starry Sky is the paper that I used for the base of the book, but I also have some more of those. So this is Fresh Freesia, This is the Starry Sky, and this is the Blushing Bride. Okay, these are re-inkers, or at least that's what we call them. They are refills for your stamp pads, but I am going to use them to make the little booklet. Now, you definitely want to start with watercolor paper. We have a watercolor paper. You are, of course, more than welcome to use it, or any watercolor paper, whatever works for you. Okay, I'm going to try not to say float your boat today. Yeah, right, that'll happen. Anyway, so I've got 2 pieces. Now, these happen to be, let's see, let's measure them, 4.5 by 6. You make the book whatever size you want to make it, okay? Whatever works for you. So I've got my 2 papers. Now, one thing I want you to notice is that on these 2, I left hardly any white space. And to me, they're a little dark, all right? So I am going to instead do quite a bit less ink. And I'm going to move this. So if you need my information, the website or Facebook or whatever, YouTube channel, I'm going to move that out of the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my colors and I'm just going to put a few dots on there. This was the Blushing Bride. This is the Starry Sky. And I'm going to use just the least little bit. Not even as much. I probably will add more Blushing Bride. And then the Fresh Freesia. Okay. Yep. There and there. All right. So then I'm going to take a spritzer. I had to think what it's called. Water with water in it. And I'm going to spray these. And I start to see that color. And that actually looks pretty good. But I'm going to put more water on there. I really want to kind of spread this out a bit. I think I do want some more of the Fresh Freesia. All right. There we go. Spray. Whoop, I already took the lid off. Spray a bit more on there. Oh, I'm about to be out of water. Have to fill that here in a minute. Okay, excuse me. All right, now I've got it moving just with the water. And all right, so I stopped the video for just a second there and let that move. Now, the reason you want to use watercolor paper for this is because that's a lot of water on there. And when I put my card on it, excuse me, and absorb that water, it's going to get a lot of water in there. Oh, yes, I like this so much better. All right, I'm going to sort of put it at an angle here and see if I can get some of this to drip. I might even pick a little more up. There we go. See how I'm trying to get that to drip? A little bit on that edge. I like that. Much better than when I put too much ink on there. Now, I need to put this somewhere where it can dry, or bring in my heat tool. Now, it's going to make a little bit of noise here, but I'm going to get this started. There we go. Got it to drip a tiny bit. All right, it's at least started drying. I don't really want to put it on these stamp blocks here, so I'm going to put it away a bit and let that continue to dry. Now, I could just put it on here again, but I really think I want some more of that Fresh Freesia. I don't think I'm going to put any more of the Starry Sky. And I'm going to put a little bit of my Blushing Bride. There we go. Maybe right there. Okay. Again, I'm going to spray it. And I kind of like leaving it. You want to get enough water for it to really kind of move. I've got a little too much of the Blushing Bride on there, I think. So I've got a... No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use my paintbrush. I've got a paintbrush. I don't have any water in it, but if I did, all I would have to do is press on here where it says push, okay? But I don't have any water in there. All I'm going to do is kind of swirl this. I don't want too much in the way of those blobs. So I'm trying to break those up a little bit. There we go. I like that. Bring a little bit of that Starry Sky in. A little bit there. Okay. I'll have to clean that out before I put the lid on. And now I'm going to place this on there. I think what I will do is see if I've got a piece of white cardstock here. I do. I have a piece of white cardstock here, and I'll show you why you really don't want to use cardstock for this. You really do want to use that. Now see, that doesn't... I've got more runs. I love that. Yeah, I think this will work very nice, but I think it's going to be my back panel. Okay, but I do like the runs on that. Now, if I wanted more in here, I really don't, but I could to get some more of that. There we go. That looks very nice. It's starting to run too much here together and make a nice brown. Yeah, I don't think I really want the brown on there. So what I'm trying to do is pick up some of this fresh freesia, and that works beautifully right there. Let me see. I think I'll keep going back to that same spot. There we go. That's looking much better. I like that a lot. Try not to get your fingers in there. You're going to get color on you. Okay. All right. Now, this is not truly a fair test for color because there's so much mixing here. But I do have just a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to put it in here and show you. There we go. And I'm going to let this dry. And boy, you can really feel the fragileness, if you will, of that paper. Very thin, which is great for cardstock the way we use it. But to make the binding for a little book, not so much. And it's very wet. I mean, I've gotten a lot of color on there, a lot of water. So let's clean that up before it spreads. Put that in there. Now, I just have a plain old cloth. Just something, you know, that I don't care. As a matter of fact, I was going to say I don't care if it gets a lot of color on it. As a matter of fact, the more color it has on it, the better. Because for one, it reminds me that that's what it is. And for another, I just think it's pretty. All right, so we're going to dry this a little bit. Where did I put my heat tool? I know I have. Here it is. Okay. So again, a little bit of noise here. And you'll see how it's kind of bubbling here. It will start to flatten out as it gets nice and dry. I'm going to bring my other one in so that I can continue to dry it. See how much, I just love that one. This one's okay, but I really like this one. it fits more in the style. This still has the colors, but this fits more in the style of the paper itself. Sorry, I really do want these to be dry. Now you can see how flat this one is because it's pretty dry. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. Give it a little bit of drying there. Dry that, turn it over on the back. And you can see even as I dry it, it just flattens out very, very nicely. Now, I started to dry this little spot here. I don't need to dry that. I need to pick it up. Don't you love this glass mat? This glass mat is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful for this. Okay, so this is going to be my front. This is going to be the back. I am going to just set those aside, let them continue to dry. One thing I will show you or point out real quick. Notice the difference. I put a lot of color on this because that's what I thought I wanted. But I really wanted it to be more of that airy color. Every time you do this, it is going to be completely different. Even if you were to put the spots in exactly the same place, even if you were to do exactly everything the way you did last time, it's going to be different. Now, it might be close, but it's going to be different. All right, let's pull out our book while those continue to sit there and dry. Let me get a few things out of the way. There we go. Let's open this back up. So you remember we did this book. I haven't done anything to it other than put it in here. We've got this page, which we have not decorated. We will. We made our little note-taking spot. I did decide to put the same paper behind there, and that's actually worked really well because, let me move these out of the way. They're kind of getting where we need to be. There we go. What was I saying? Oh, one good thing about this is, do you remember how I folded these corners in? So those little edges right along here were preventing my little notepad here from going in nicely. So by putting this in on top of those folds, now it'll just slip in just fine. I don't have any trouble with it. All right, let's go over here to these two. You'll see the papers that I decided to put here. And I've also got this one. Now, these are from the Pocket Thoughts. Pull it in here. Pocket Thoughts has these three, and even if you decide not to get the stamp set here, although remember, for 5 more days till the end of June, all stamp and die bundles, which are already 10% off, are an additional 10% off. So you actually get 20% off. But if you wanted just the dies, this would be one of those sets that I might, although I do like the cupcakes. Happy birthday, an arrow, yay for you, lots of love, graduation, maybe engagement, whatever. Okay, so I've cut these out already. What I started to mention was, do you see this one, how it doesn't exactly match on either side? It's because I had a scrap piece of paper, and as long as I have enough that I can bend back and be able to get my glue on there, it doesn't matter if I cut part of it off. I also cut part of this one off from something else I had die cut. So don't worry about that. As long as it doesn't cut the main part that's going to be seen, you're golden. All right. Now, what I want to do with this, let's move it out of the way for a moment. Get things situated. We are going to, this is our page, okay? So we are going to bring this in and move the book out of the way. Okay, actually we're going to bring all of these envelopes in. Sometimes you just need to decorate an envelope, and you don't even necessarily want to put designer series paper on there. You could, but you don't have to by any means. So I am going to put that on there. I am going to put this on here. Might do that there and that there. Okay, so we've got them. Now, one of the things I absolutely, completely adore about Stampin' Up! Is our color coordination. I've got fresh freesia paper, fresh freesia stamp pad, and I can stamp them on top of each other and get a beautiful result. I like to hold it on there, give it a moment, lift up, and that is tone on tone. Absolutely love it. Now, I could, if I wanted to, come back and color the body and the antenna black or something, but to be honest, I don't need to. Okay, so there is that. Need to wash that. There we go. Now, the reason I stamped just up there at the top is because I am going to put this here. Could put another one there, and I might, but for right now, this is what I'm going to do. So, so I know you're asking, where did these stamps come from? It's a good thing I happen to have that information for you. Spotlight on Nature. Here's my butterfly. Here's my little crosshatch. Here is my leaf and my flower right here. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So I only need this little bit of the flower. All right. I don't even need to go past the where those connect with each other. So I'm going to get a little bit of flour there, stamp on it. Ta-da! Okay, now you'll notice it went off. No big deal, but I do want to clean it up right away before it ends up on my arm and then gets on my paper. Okay, so there's that. I think we're going to do the crosshatch on here. And we're just going to kind of play with it. Now, what I'll probably do is the same flower that sorry about that, this flower, and stamp and cut it out, die cut it, and then put it on top of this, okay, to give a little bit of, sorry, my dogs are, I think there's a moose out in the yard probably. All right, there we go. And this one, okay. And I might do two. Do this one here. And that one there. All right, nice, okay. And I did get a little bit, so I'll wipe that up. Okay, put those away. It's always a good idea to practice keeping those closed so that you don't get ink all over your project. And I am going to clean my stamps. This is the Simply Chamois, and it's always a good idea to keep those stamps cleaned. Okay. We've got two different cleaning systems, whichever one works for you. I personally really like, I just lost a whole stack of stamps. knew that was going to happen. Okay, so the other cleaning system is this one where, okay, why isn't this? Oh, because I was trying to go the wrong way. All right, and this is the wet side. I even put myself a little thing here, and this is the dry side. And so what I would do is take my Stampin' Mist, spray it here, then clean and dry, and then I'm good to go. Okay, I had already cleaned it, so it's no big deal. Okay, let's get that out of the way. There we go. I do have it here because I do use it, but it's not something that I use all the time. The Stampin' Mist and the other, let's put these back in here. Just because, now keep in mind, stamps and dies are on sale. An extra 10% off. I know I've already said this, but this is a great one. I cannot believe I have not done a video on this yet because I love it so much. It is amazing. But let me get these back in there. I'm being quick, or trying, right? Okay. Sometimes people ask me, why do I keep the outline? Because I didn't always, but I do kind of like it because I can tell at a very quick glance, even from the outside, whether they're all there or not before I put them up. And that's a good thing. All right, let's get some blocks out of our way. And let's start folding these. So I'm going to fold it in. Okay, you know what? I misfolded that. I'm going to try it again. There we go. Where is my bone folder? Here we go. So I'm going to give those a nice crease. So what I did is I tried to fold it on this line rather than the actual folding line. So there's a little bit of decoration on the front. So be sure you're aware of that. Fold that. Fold this. Burnish it nicely. Do the same here. Ha ha! You know what? I stamped this on the wrong side. We're going to do that one again. I did it on both of these. No, we're not. We're just going to leave it the way it is. It doesn't matter. It'll still fold. So, fold those. That's funny. You know, at least I make the mistakes when you can see me do that. I think there's value in that. Because, to be honest, you can't tell the difference. There's no mistake, if you will. All right, I'm going to fold these again. And it lets you see that, you know what, it's not the end of the world when you make one of those little boo-boos. And I tell my students, because I do teach school, elementary school, I tell my students that a mistake is an opportunity to learn. And it truly is, because those precious little kiddos can bawl their eyes out when they make a mistake. And it's not bad. Making a mistake truly is sort of, you know, a good thing. It's an opportunity to learn. Now, I could put 2 of these on here if I wanted to, but I'm just going to do one. Okay, I'm going to get out. You know what I'm going to do? Because that glue, you saw me do this yesterday, is so full, I am going to use this, and I'm going to make sure, I haven't used it in a while, so I'm going to make sure that that opening is, oh yeah, it was open. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive. Now all this is the green glue that you've seen me using. It's just in a smaller nozzle so that I don't get too much glue on everything. And you saw how I did that on the video number 2 for this book. I got too much glue on there a few times. All right, we're going to put that right there. There we go. Now, if you want, you could push it in so that you've got more room to put something. But to be honest, because it's got these little wings like this, that gives you automatically room to put things in the pocket. All right, this one is ready to go in the book. These two are ready to go in the book. So we need the book. What did I do with the book? I bet you were trying to tell me I put it behind me. Okay, so we are going to put this one, I think we're going to put it right here on the side. So again, with that small nozzle, I am going to put, excuse me, I really will get over this cold. I went to the doctor, and I don't go to the doctor for colds, but man, I thought I had strep. I did have pink eye of all things. Ugh, haven't had that since my first year teaching. Anyway, so can you see this? Let me get these out of the way. Can you see that? There we go. And like I said, I think we're going to put that right there. Okay. I do want to give that a little bit of time to adhere. Okay, everything's good. Now we've got these two. Now you can see why I sort of put the green on green, because that's what I've got. This is Old Olive, by the way, and it's one of the colors in this set. So I love this small nozzle. It's very nice for getting little bits of glue in little bitty die cuts, or like this on the edges. And so I'm going to put this here, make sure it's lined up with the bottom and the edge. And of course it's not, so I needed to move it there a smidge. There we go. Another one. I like this crosshatch. It's sort of a decoration without being anything. It's just color, contrast, and yet it's still monochromatic. All right, I'm going to put this rather low because I want to be able to get something in up there. Now, if you are making this a gift for somebody, you could put a gift card right in there. I don't have one right here, but you could put a nice little gift card in there. Okay, these are there. You could put a bookmark here and even have a tassel hanging out the front. All right, we don't have anything on this page yet. We've got this, and now I believe our book is dry, or the front of our book is dry. Oh yeah, that's nice and dry. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to stack these up. I want to put some string in here of some sort. So I'm going to go about, whoops, before I do that though, I want to score the edge. And I want this edge to be so I'm going to put it at about 3/8. And I'm going to score. Okay, there we go. Got a nice score on that. Remember, this paper is much harder, thicker than, there we go, than regular cardstock, so you can press pretty hard. Oops, I do need to put the lid on this adhesive. There we go. All right, so stack them back up again. Okay, whichever side you want on the back, or whichever direction you want the back. There we go. Now, this is from an actual bookbinding kit that I got on Amazon. So if you're interested in that, you can let me know. I'm just going to go about to the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to go down here about an inch up from the bottom. Give it another nice hole. And I didn't get very close to the middle, but that's okay. And there. It's not exact science. Okay, so now I'm ready to put my paper in. So yesterday, when we were doing the other insides, we cut this off. This is the one that we layered and did all that with. And this is what, so we should have 5 sheets here. 5, okay. And this just so happens to work perfectly. So what we're going to do, take our measurements here. Where is my ruler? Okay, this, remember, was 6 inches. So I'm going to cut this off at about, it's 11 inches. I'm going to go ahead and do it at 5.5 so that we can use double this. Okay, whoops, there we go. So we're going to double it up. Means we'll have 10 sheets in there. Means we want to put this on the back of this. And that